been watching HBO. You got a new favorite show? Been watching HBO. You got a new favorite show?
Welcome back to Game of Who. So, you decided to come back for more, eh? Well, in case you don't know who we are, we're the podcast with the technology to spoil all your little Game of Thrones and Doctor Who episodes. I'm Jordan. He's Pedro. And joining us is the Mountain's third younger brother himself, Mr. Ven Stone.
Hello.
And this week's episodes are the Rings of Akhaten and Dark Wings, Dark Words.
Sounds like a fun time, and thanks everyone for coming back from our train wreck of our initial pilot episode. But I assure you, we are properly set. I got my Who mug here, got a bottle of wine, so...
I got a sonic screwdriver.
Oh, do you now? Where? Oh.
I came equipped. Pedro, what about you? You brought nothing.
Oh,
dragon.
Well, he's got a dragon ring.
Yeah, here. Here's a dragon for you.
Always the fun one.
I got a second one for you because I got buy one get one free.
Look at that. And Master Sphig makes it in stereo. But we got the two episodes.
Ben's a bit too tired to use his third arm.
Yeah, piss off. Let's check in with the news before we get started. This comes from BuzzFeed Entertainment, and this is 46 things I learned about the Game of Thrones exhibit. Anyone have a chance to learn anything from this?
There was one or two interesting things, but I mean, a lot of them I knew already.
Yep.
Then you were a bit
Emilia
shocked,
Clarke
though.
is ridiculously tiny at number 19.
Ooh, number 19. Yeah. All right, so that's that. Yeah, I didn't see anything that really genuinely blew my mind during this. Lots of swords, lots of things. Nice to know that the show has a bit of an exhibit. Man, let's get right on to Doctor Who.
That's a big damn surprise, ain't it?
Man, this shocked me beyond all shocking because this person...
Particular individual.
What were you saying, Pedro?
No, go ahead.
I'm just saying, Eccleston. You might remember him as the first Doctor of New Who.
Ninth Doctor total.
Did a total of one series. And he
It was a good series.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed him as the Doctor and his male companion, which we gotta admit that, you know, good on them for having at least one male companion. His name was like Rose or something like that.
Yeah, Ross or something.
It was called Billy. You know, Little Billy.
Little Billy, but he's not coming to the 50th anniversary. Does that shock anyone?
I'm disappointed, but at the same time, why am I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I kind of saw it coming. I mean, he was in talks, but they never really did, you know...
He's
say
like,
that
maybe if
he
there's
might
enough
be on it.
zeros on this paycheck, I might, but there weren't enough zeros.
Could have been.
Well, bad on you, man. I mean, seriously, eat it up. It's historical, you know, that we're doing the 50th episode of Who. Eat it for just one more appearance, and I'm sure there would be a buttload of money for that.
50th episode.
50th anniversary.
Episode.
Ben can count.
I count hard, gentlemen.
I do math.
Check this out, man. Game of Thrones Pirate Breakbit Torrent Swarm records, man. And we had 160,000 simultaneous peers, which comes as a shock to absolutely no one.
Unless you have HBO, you can't watch the series legally. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And HBO is expensive, and not a lot of people can afford it. So how else are we supposed to watch it?
And HBO only works in North America.
Well, it's a goddamn shame you live in Mordor, but whatever.
Well, apparently Australia doesn't get it either, because it was the highest piracy rate of the popular download destinations, while London tops the list of pirate cities.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. But this comes as no surprise. You got a popular episode. But, you know, HBO is, I think, slowly trying to become an online thing. You know, a Netflix type business. But they're so entrenched with the current media providers, you know, the cable companies and whatnot.
Well, I mean, they're the ones who give them the money to make these awesome series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's the problem. Is that, I mean, Game of Thrones ain't cheap. I mean, look at that.
Happens as it happens, but no one's surprised about this.
Oh, yeah. So a Lannister always pays his debts, eh?
Pays her debts, I believe.
Oh.
Lena Headey, Game of Thrones star, has less than £5 to her name. Now, she's not a natural blonde, so the drapes, curtains, no, not so much.
The curtains probably don't match the drapes.
Man is claiming to a judge that she is flat out broke and pleading for at least $6,000 from her divorced husband, Peter Lorgrim. How can she be broke after the first series? What does she have? I read this.
Hookers and blow.
But she's a woman.
Hookers and blow.
Fair enough, fair enough.
You think men are the only ones who can purchase hookers? Or do cocaine?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the gigolos. Yeah.
I don't know.
Hookers and
it
blow.
just kind of blew my mind. Unless she's one of those types that, you know, has a, you know, $20,000 a month personal assistant or something like that. But
no, she doesn't look the type. And the fact that she even mentions that she kind of needs the money to support her kid leads me to believe that there's something behind that divorce of theirs that might have sucked all the money away.
Could
well, we're not gossipy bitches like the rest of them. So
no. Check this out.
This is awesome.
Now this is awesome.
James Brown. Let's see if we got the audio levels set up so we can play this. Well, just a bit of this masterpiece. Let's have a listen.
This is a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing. Nothing without a woman on the side.
Ah,
Yeah.
sweet, sweet lullabies.
That worked stupidly well. Crap.
Yeah, and if you're one of those poor suckers who are listening to the audio version of this, go to, I don't know, we'll figure out the timestamp later, but go to this part in the video.
You can do a
and
search
watch
on the YouTubes, man.
Or yeah,
man's
you
Game
could do
of
that. Or
Thrones
you know,
world.
give us the traffic. I don't know.
Well, we're not trying to whore ourselves out like that hard, but very close. Definitely worth watching. But only second to this other Legendador. Access of awesome, and we're just going to play this until it kind of kicks into what's going on, because when I watched this, as much as I was like, I was getting ready to cut it off, it just kept hitting me again and again and again. So
Yeah, it's
you'll
pretty-
immediately get the idea as soon as it starts.
You got a new favorite show? Been watching HBO. You got a new favorite show? Been watching HBO. You got a new favorite show? Been watching HBO. ice-cold Game of Thrones? Well, I read the fucking books! I said I read the fucking books! I read them years ago. So don't tell me about Jon Snow.
All right. There's enough of that. But as much as I didn't want to like it from the initial, rage against the whatnots, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I listened to it 2 or 3 times back to back. Pedro, what are your thoughts on it?
It was awesome, but I think they could have adopted one more thing from Rage Against the Machine, which was that on the transition.
the Zach De La Rocca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of it for our just little run through the news. Let's get in to the
actual show.
And we are back, and we're going to talk first about the Doctor and the Who's. We start this out with our initial first impressions, and Mrs. Fang. Check with the
This
judge.
episode was weak sauce.
What do you mean, weak sauce?
Oh, the power of love.
Now, this is not
I know. I'm just getting that off my chest right off the bat. Oh man, the alien Casbah was cool though. I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
The episode was nowhere near as strong as last week's, even with the iPad brain hacking thing.
What do you think, Pedro? First impressions?
Well, I kind of like the story, the origin story for Oswin and how she came to be. It gives her a bit more depth, even though she's still as relatable as an ironing board, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Now, the first thing that just stopped me in my tracks for this one goes, it's seriously, Granddaughter. Yeah, that was wait, what? Not because I didn't
just
know.
Wow, that they're going back to Hartnell now.
Yeah, this is the first time I believe it was mentioned in the new Who that
he's been shown once or twice before, but never outright mentioned.
Yeah, he's always mentioned that he might have family or something like that, and we know we have the Doctor's daughter, but yeah, Granddaughter. That was kind of wild. I did like that, he was doing a bit of homework on the Oswin, Oz for the win, for his new companion. I'm sure that was weird as it is. Kind of with Jordan on this was definitely what you would call a Monster of the Week episode, which we all know from the new Who series. Unlike the old Tom Baker days when they would have a 6-episode mini arc.
Oh, the epic storylines.
Yeah, right. We're not getting that yet. It felt like a bit of a throwaway to me, man. Did like his little bit of the speech at the end because we got to see some tears. Let me taste those tears, Scott. I mean, Doctor.
Matt.
So, I guess we need to screech directly into what were the problems with our Arkabos. What is it? Arkabos? Yeah.
What was it? It was Akhaten.
Akhaten.
Whatever.
Akhaten. All right, what's wrong with it, Swing? What's wrong with it? Explain.
Oh, okay. First off,
Explain.
Thank you, my little parrot.
Hey, Jordan, do you know what
Pedro
you could
parrot.
do? Yeah. No?
Yes. All right. So every time the Doctor says that's impossible, it always turns out to be possible. I don't know why he says it anymore. How many times has he said she's impossible, or that's impossible, or this is impossible?
4.
And then 5 minutes later, it's yeah, it's totally possible. Whatevs.
I mean, think about it. He's pretty old. He knows a lot of things. Maybe he likes to be wrong every once in a while.
So tell me about the power of
Anyways,
love, man.
Number two, number dos.
Dos
The
equis.
power of love.
All right.
Because it's the power of love. The power of song can repel the angry sun god. I think the power of heavy metal would have been a lot more effective at just kicking its ass.
So do you think they should have went like Full Metal Dad's Home with the things coming out?
Yeah, just like massive speaker stacks and just rock the hell out and destroy that thing with the awesome might of heavy metal.
Well, I wouldn't say it was the power of love, mostly because,
Come
last
on.
episode,
It's the power of love. It's the power of love.
You remember last episode when he grabbed the leaf and was like, and Ven actually pointed it out. Whole empires would kill to have a single strand of alien, Time Lord DNA.
So you think he orchestrated this entire thing?
No, I think
yes.
it was the producers that went like, oh, Time Lord DNA, that's kind of the bee's knees. No, we kind of have to get rid of this now. And that's what they came up with. Memory-eating planet thing gets rid of the leaf.
Evil sun god that's defeated by the power of love. Come on,
and
man.
it retcons the whole, Time Lord DNA thing. It's a win-win situation.
No, it's an Oswin situation.
you just love that, don't you? You're just gonna ride this Oswin thing to death until she gets crushed under an anvil or something.
And well,
by the way, that's my prediction for how she's gonna die. Anvil.
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 All right. Anything else you found issue with?
There was one other issue. Billy, we mentioned earlier.
Billy.
Okay, so the TARDIS doesn't like Oswin, but Billy, yeah, okay, here, have some powers. Here, turn Captain Harkness into a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Captain Harkness is a fact.
Well, he is now, thanks to Billy.
No, he was always a fact.
Yeah, I've always kind of wondered why you came up with this idea, Pedro.
Well, the Tenant episodes actually mentioned it. What was the line? I can't remember it. She turned him into a fact, a steady point in history. When he's in the reactor chamber, getting irradiated, supposedly should be dying, but he doesn't.
All right. So my issues. First thing that really struck me was the TARDIS translation matrix.
Yeah,
broken.
I was wondering about that.
That was the first thing I was like, seriously, shouldn't all that immediately get translated for the effect? And didn't we see this seems like the new companion thing when he took out the redhead the first time they went to the bazaar type area with the puppet things.
Snogbox.
Yeah, snog boxes. But with this, same difference. Went to the bazaar by speaking alien. She was like, oh, I don't understand the language. And I guess the circuit was flipped on the translation matrix. Still hating the interior. Don't like it. Don't like how he flips the screen twice during this episode. He's like, I'm just pushing that away. Where's all the nifty gizmos and bits? And that gets to me.
21st century.
Yeah.
This. Apparently, space scooters come with their own atmosphere.
Doctor Who's been riding the scooter thing lately. Seriously.
No pun intended.
Last episode, this episode, scooter. Nobody.
Yeah, there's been a thing with bikes.
That just, that was, just struck me as like the Deus Ex shit.
Oh, no, he's Batman. He can breathe in space.
Yeah, but Oswin can't.
She's Batman, too.
There's Batmans everywhere.
I'm a Batman, you're a Batman, he's a Batman, she's a Batman.
All right, all in all, this second episode of the second part of series, yeah, I felt like a throwaway, man. Didn't hate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, didn't hate it. Like I said, liked the speech. Wanted to taste some sweet doctored tears at the end. The leaf thing. Yeah.
Let's face it, you just want to lick Matt's face.
What are your thoughts?
I think his face would be way too salty for me.
Yeah.
No, I honestly think this episode was a bit of a waste. It was tolerable, but I mean, it didn't really do anything. And honestly, the power of love.
The power of love compels thee.
No, and they've pulled this crap before too. The power of love with Amy and Rory. When when Rory gets zapped by the thing, he's like, "Oh yeah, just remember that he exists. You love him." Blah 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 blah. That's enough to warp the fabric of reality. And
Yeah, it was kind of that way in Fringe too. When that couple that in one dimension she died and in the other dimension he died, and they were
Now,
actually
the final
creating a
thoughts
rift through
from
the
the
power of
person
love.
who doesn't realize this isn't Fringecast. What did you think about the latest Doctor Who episode?
It was just a very complex retcon pulled out of a Dalek's ass.
Daleks don't have asses.
Precisely.
Speaking from the man who knows.
I've looked extensively.
So
That
do you
would
like
certainly
it?
explain a lot.
Would you? I mean, that's it. Just meh.
Again, it was entertaining, but that's it.
That's it.
Game of
So,
Thrones.
let's come up next with the throne.
All right, so Game of Thrones, Dark World, or what was it? Dark Wings, Dark Words.
Dark wing duck of words. Quack.
Dark Duck.
Bitches.
I am the
Kinda
terror
like
that
that show.
flaps in the night. Actually, no, Brian's the terror that flaps in the night.
So, yeah, this is our second treat of the new series, Series 3 of Game of Thrones, and we're going to give you our first impressions, starting out with the Master Mateus.
Well, all those complaints I had last week about not knowing what was happening, with the protagonists, they were actually kind of fixed this week. And I especially liked the ending when they take the hood out of the Hound's face and he's like, "Girl, what are you doing with a stock bitch?" Just like that. Awesome.
Yeah, no, this was a pretty good episode. We got our Brienne of Tarth, we got our Arya, we got our little Dickie Joffrey, who's becoming more and more seduced by that one girl.
Marjorie?
What was her name? Marjorie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pedro, you're talking about how he's not so much of a dick anymore. He still is, but he's like realizing that he's an idiot now. But I mean,
Yeah.
that kid's not well in the head. He's like, she's like, would you like to watch me kill something? He's like, oh yes, I would. He's got a bit of a Jeffrey, or should I say Joffrey Dahmer thing going.
So, you're saying that it also gave you an erection as well, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. I totally want to see her kill stuff.
Indeed. Anything else?
But yeah, as Pedro was saying, I think they're spreading out the story across like 2 episodes, like 2 episode little chunks. So next week we're going to see more of the characters from episode 1, and then after that we're going to see more of the characters from episode 2. So all I can think now is, man, that season 3, season 4 cliffhanger is going to suck.
As cliffhangers ought to do. For me, as a cello player, and like still get nerd chills at that intro. It's one of the few intros of any series that I don't immediately nope out of and get right to the business. Love the buddy cop action between these two. You know, hottie model that cleans up nice, and the Kingslayer.
Brienne doesn't make good decisions.
This was brought to light now, wasn't it? As a bonus, unlike last week when I was like, Joffrey. It's like, all right, didn't have an issue with it. 15 minutes in, wanted to slap him, wanted to dinklage the Joff. So, those are my first impressions.
You know, when he's being a bitch towards the queen, I don't mind him that much.
Yeah, well, still wanted to slap him. It hit all the triggers for me. Did you want to backhand him a little bit?
Oh, he's gonna get what's coming.
I've heard you've read those lies written by that hack. Oh,
I am looking forward to this. It's just gonna be so satisfying.
Well, that does it for our first impressions, and much like the Who, Matt, let's just get into the problem, starting all the way from Portugal. Mr. Mateus, lay it
Cross an entire
down.
ocean.
Check with the judge.
Anyway, so my first issue was creepy kid shows up in Braun's dream, and then he shows up in real life. No explanation, no nothing. We're just supposed to take it.
He is pretty creepy, but she looks kind of rapey behind him.
Yeah, well, she looks kind of rapey all the time.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Hodor.
Nope. Anyway, besides that, well, with Marjorie, going back to what Jordan was saying earlier, with Marjorie manipulating Joffrey, he's actually not being that much of a bitch. He's starting to... Well, he's starting to be the Joffrey in the books. Let's call him that. On the upside, though, Sansa's still a wimp, so good on them.
Oh, she's gonna have such horrible things happen to her.
All right, lay us with your problems.
You know what? I didn't really have any problems with this episode. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the screen time was well used. The plot progressed. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't have any real issue with it. But I think Joffrey becoming stupid is kind of the point. I mean, he's not smart. And he's literally just a little boy who's been spoiled, who got a ton of power and now doesn't know what to do with it. He tried to be like a warrior king and he failed. And now he's like, what do I do?
And he was born from an incestuous relationship.
Yep, but incest doesn't really... Incest takes a couple generations to kick in, though.
Mm. Now,
see, those Targaryens, then, those guys.
Yeah, that's a whole different sausage.
Yeah.
Now, for me, this is something maybe I should have talked about in the first impressions. It was interesting to see how Joffrey's new wife, because the wife before that, what's her name?
Was a wimp.
Sansa. She had no idea how to deal with the mad boy king. But, they had that whole conversation with the grandmother.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is it really like? What's in? And she's like, I don't know if I can trust you. I don't know. And finally it clicked. And she's like, okay. And she's like, he's a monster. Then you watch the new wife, her name?
Marjorie. Marjorie Tyrell.
Marjorie.
Comes into that situation, with the crossbow. And she knew, she had the info, and she played him knowing that he was a monster, that she even fed him the thing, would you like me to kill something for you?
She pulled on just the right strings.
Yeah, she walked in there knowing what she was doing. But back to the actual problems. Decided lack of boobs, and, you know, I complained about just random nudity in Game of Thrones for no reason. Maybe they had enough story to where they need to throw that in, but that's always been my halfway mark, you know, when random acts of nudity show up on Game of Thrones. Yeah, you're about halfway through, you can hit pause, go do something, come back to it. No cursor on this. I had to keep, you know, ADDing and checking the time. And I was like, all right, because I just can't sit and watch an hour long anything. At one particular time, the whole arrow in the air move, physics. I know it's an MTV fantasy show, but you can't do that with an arrow. Trust me.
It was kind of like the JFK assassination. There was more than one shooter there.
And to round out my little bit of problems, you got the budget. You barely gave us some northern scenery. Where were the giants, man?
I think we're going to get that next episode.
Yeah.
I demand from now on at least one giant per northern shot. Sounds fair, no?
That might get a bit expensive.
But, you know, giants are shy. Maybe they're camera shy too.
Until they stop being shy, then they get angry. Weren't you paying attention?
Damn right I was.
Well then.
Well, Jordan, I think that's going to wrap it up. But tell people where they can find us.
You can find us at gameofwho.com.
Check this
But you
out.
can also find us at our cleverly hidden Twitter and Google Plus aliases. Yes, we snagged that domain. We're quick.
Yoink.
But yes, you can check me out at The Burning Fool on Twitter or plus Jordan Svung on Google Plus. You can check that clown out at Unaccounted For on Twitter and plus Pedro Mateus on Google Plus. And this gigantic bastard here, you can find him at Venstone and plus Venstone. And I guess we should say goodbye, I guess. Wave to the lovely people.
Wave.